Well, we got a number of things I'd like to show you before we load them all up and take them down to the Paramount this morning and give them to a good carpenter to do the work down there. We built a jig, really, that we're going to use to patch the top rail where there's some defects in it, and the router will follow the jig and slice out an area of the rail, and then we'll install these patches, so it's kind of a male-female type of operation. We're going to cut the rail out using this jig and the router, and then we're going to glue in this piece of wood and then work it down flush with the rest of the top. So in the end we'll end up with a patch that looks something like this. Hopefully it'll stain in well. So I've got two species of wood. I've got 2 pieces of maple, 2 pieces of poplar, because trying to find wood that's going to take stain and look like that's going to be difficult to do. I've got 2 patches, again, maple and poplar. We'll drill in the top of the little curly Q of the rail, as I call it, with a brace and bit, which is basically an antique tool, but it'll work great this time. The last thing we've got is a laminate trimmer router mounted to a follower block that's going to follow this, and with that we'll cut this recess in the old rail down there that's been worn away over the years. Well, I've known Gary Christensen for probably 30 years, and he came out of retirement a little bit. He's been working 39.5 hours a week, and I've given him my jigs and my tooling and everything else that he needs to do this work. He's getting ready to take and chop out this section of bad handrail right there. We'll get going in just a minute. Well, an interesting thing happens to a carpenter as he gets older. He either uses his mind to continue his career or his body wears out, one or the other. My good friend Gary Christensen put this patch in on his handrail probably 3 weeks ago. He's never gotten back to finish the job, so I'm taking a block plane that I've got sharpened up pretty well, working the patch down to the profile of this handrail. When I get done, I'll give it to a good painter, try to match the stain and make it all look the same. So when you come to the theater, you'll have to see if you can find this patch. If you can find this patch and you can find me, I'll buy you lunch. Use a palm sander to sand this on down. That'll complete the profile. So here's a snipe on the lower rail, and I've set up to go ahead and cut that one out. There's a minor one that we'll probably just try to putty, and here's the one that I've just patched in. And there's a sharp contrast in unfinished wood color But through the magic of what a good painter can do, he'll match up this when it's stained and this when it's stained. And if you look real close, you'll probably see the patch. But we're forced with thinking about how this rail will live for the next 85 years. We could just putty in these areas down here like was done before, but they didn't live 85 years. And now when somebody runs their hand down this rail, they risk picking up a sliver. So we've got to balance what we do historically with the practical aspect of it as well. You can run your hand over this rail, and with your eyes closed, you can't tell where it's at all. And we hope that a good painter, such as my son Rick, working right below me, can do this finishing on this rail to where you really don't notice it.